So you're wondering how much it costs to live here in Sacramento, California. Well, in today's video, we're gonna jump into all the specifics and talk about what it actually costs to live in Sacramento, California. Stay tuned. Hello everyone, my name is Isaac Rosas. I am a local realtor here in the Sacramento area, and in today's video, we're gonna discuss the cost of living in Sacramento, California. We're gonna discuss what it costs to buy a house, rent a house, what the averages are. We're gonna talk about utilities, health insurance, groceries, you name it, and we're also going to be comparing them to the two other big cities here in California, San Francisco and Los Angeles, just to give that perspective. So let's talk about housing. Housing prices in Sacramento are what make it so much more expensive to live here when you compare it to the rest of the United States averages cost of a home. For example, the median average price of a home across the US is about $355,000, whereas here in Sacramento, it's $517,000. But when you compare the average cost of a home in Sacramento to the other cities like San Francisco and Los Angeles, the cost is much less than their averages, and that is why we're seeing some migration from these big cities to Sacramento, because their money goes further when it comes to how much house they're getting. Let's look into the exact numbers and what the differences are when it comes to the average cost of a house. In Sacramento, the average cost of a house, we went over this already, is $517,000, whereas in San Francisco, the average cost of a house is $1.5 million, and in Los Angeles, it's $898,000. Now, we talked about the costs of owning a home here in Sacramento. Let's jump into the cost of rents. So when it comes to rents in Sacramento, they've actually gone up pretty significantly, especially when you compare them to what you'd be paying on a monthly basis when it comes to owning the home. But let's jump into the specifics.
So as you can see, the average cost of a studio would be anywhere from $821 to $881. One bedroom, $930 to $1,358. Two bedroom, anywhere from $1,148 to $1,723. Three bedroom, anywhere from $1,537 to $2,375. And four bedroom, anywhere from $1,791 to $2,755. Obviously, these just depend on the exact area these either apartments or house is located in, but those give you a ballpark idea.
All right, so now we've talked about actually getting into a home, whether you're gonna buy or rent it. So now we're gonna be talking about the average monthly cost and what you'd be paying for utilities. Right now, if you add it all up, the average monthly cost would be about $180 a month, and that includes your water, sewage, garbage, and your internet. So you're living in your house and you're paying your monthly utility bills. Now, let's talk about how you're gonna be getting to work. In Sacramento, about 4% of the population utilize public transportation. This could be light rail or bus, and the tickets are relatively cheap, so if you want to get to and from work at a discounted price, this could be for you. So, about how much is a ticket? About $2.50 one way, or you could go buy the tickets in bulk and you just get a $100 a month monthly pass, which is a relatively decent option too. But if you have a plug-in electric vehicle and you are commuting to downtown Sacramento, you might not be too affected by these high gas prices when they tend to rise or drop, because there are a lot of options here, whether it be public parking or private parking, where you have access to charging your vehicle while you work, which is a great option. All right, so we covered getting to work. Let's talk about the good stuff. Let's talk about what there is to eat and what it costs. So if you are going to a somewhat decent restaurant and it's the two of you, the average cost for the both of you would probably come out to about $40. Now, that is if it's somewhat decent. If you're going to be going a little higher end, you can see them anywhere above $60 for the both of you. Individually, it's an average about $15 on a decent meal too. You will be making your own food instead of eating out. Well, it is pretty much as far as the cost for groceries, it is pretty average here in Sacramento. You're not gonna get any crazy cost. It is a bit higher than the US national average cost for groceries, but nothing crazy, so don't let that steer you away. Another cool thing about Sacramento is the brewery. So there's about 50 breweries here in the area, and these breweries are they like to partake in the festivals that occur throughout the year. We have Oktoberfest, our spring festivals, all sorts of festivals, farm to fork festivals, and it's definitely worth checking out. All right, so we've talked about the food, housing, utilities. Let's talk about income. So there are two different taxes when it comes to living here in California. You have your sales tax and your income tax. And the sales tax is about 7.25% as of now when I publish this. And the income tax is on average about 9.3%. Obviously, it depends on the exact amount you would be making. If you make more, you will get taxed more. But those give you a ballpark idea. All right, and the last thing we will be touching on today is health insurance. So if you are not working at a job where they provide that for you, then you will be paying that out of pocket. So the benefit about living in Sacramento is it is less than the national average when it comes to what you'd be paying for your healthcare on a monthly basis. And the average is about $430. Now, obviously it depends if you are old or young or how much you make. Sometimes you could get the Medi-Cal, and that helps cover things, and so obviously it just depends on your exact situation, but be prepared if you want to pay for that out of pocket and it's not covered through your work to pay around $430. So next, we're going to be looking at a map of the Sacramento and greater Sacramento area, because obviously Sacramento is not just limited to its downtown area. We're going to jump into some neighboring cities that might be of interest.
Alright, so what we're looking at here is the Sacramento area. Down here is where you will find your high average cost per square foot for what you're paying for. Very expensive homes, but it is centrally located. You're here in the downtown metro, so everything's literally 5-minute walk away. Then when you go further up north here in the northern Sacramento area, in Rio Linda, Alberta, Antelope area, you get your more affordable housing, single family detached, your family 3-bedroom, 2-bath type homes with decent sized backyards, very affordable. And then you move towards the Roseville area. Roseville is it's a suburban area with great schools, very similar to Folsom, El Dorado Hills, and Elk Grove. These all have great schools, and you are paying high cost for your housing, but you are getting those great schools, and you're getting, typically they don't have a lot of multifamily units just like here in the downtown metro, but you are getting your single family detached out here. So overall great areas. And then Rancho Cordova is very similar to the northern Sacramento area, Antelope Heights, where you are getting a lot of affordable housing relative to the rest of the surrounding areas. Obviously, this is super general and it's barely scratching the surface when it comes to each of these cities, but we only have so much time, so if you are looking to get more information on any of these cities, feel free to reach out. I'm familiar with all of them, and we can get you some more insight, especially if you're planning on moving here, so feel free to reach out.
And like I said, I'm a local real estate agent in the area, so I'm super familiar with all these areas. So if you are moving into the area and you know where you'll be working, or you have an idea of where you want to be, let me know and I can help you kind of get an idea of where you would want to be in the ideal neighborhood for you, whether it's a big house with a big yard but further away from the city, or you want to be within walking distance of everything in kind of a downtown metropolitan area. You name it, I'll be there for you. I'll help guide you in the right direction. Just feel free to reach out to me, whether it's phone, email, pitch and carrier, I'll answer it all. Really hope you enjoyed the video. Comment down below if you've been to Sacramento, you want to visit Sacramento, if you agree with some of the things I've mentioned in the video or disagree. Love to hear it all. I love the feedback. I'll also be keeping an eye on the comments down below. If you guys have any questions for me, I'll be monitoring them so I can answer them thoroughly. And until next time, see you guys on the next one.